after announcing in early August that he would be taking a step back from streaming to deal with his sick father, and then ultimately the fallout of that situation, which is very regrettable and incredibly sad in and of itself. Asmongold announced, yes, at the beginning of last week, that he would be finally coming back. He would be streaming more regularly, even though he did a couple of pop-up videos because there were some fairly important topics to him to come out during that time. And yes, the most influential streamer came back, I think at the tail end of last week, and it didn't take him long to, go viral for one of his more recent takes. And honestly, it's one of his more measured takes that I 100% agree with, and it's something that I've talked about before, in fact. Asmongold says that he would take away 85% of the population's voting rights. Okay, it's a little bit more nuanced than that. Obviously, we got a clip to watch right here to suss some things out. But yeah, just my stance before we even go into this. I think universal suffrage was a stupid idea because somebody who is politically literate and contemplative in their thoughts and takes, their opinion and their vote is wiped out by somebody whose favorite celebrity endorsed a political candidate that would end up leading them to desolation and ruin. No, man, I've talked about this before, and this is going back, years at this point in time, but earning your vote, either through public service, being a net taxpayer, long and short of it is, ostensibly being a benefit to society, enfranchises your voice and makes your opinion matter. There's a bunch of stuff that I would put into place in order to make sure that every single vote counts, but every single vote that counts needs to count. I don't want to make it easier for people to vote. I want to make it more difficult for people to vote. Identifications, a 1 day outside of extreme circumstances where you are either abroad due to work or deployment, or you are temporarily infirmed and you literally cannot make it to the voting office that day, that one voting day. But no, we aren't trending in that direction as a society at large. I mean, isn't the UK floating the idea for 16-year-olds to vote, but you have to provide a digital ID in order to get online and be at least 18 years of age? It never makes sense. Democrats also wanting to lower the voting age because all of those kids are just festooned in their propaganda machines with public schooling. But then at the same time, you also need to present identification to buy cigarettes and get some art school dropout to scribble all over your arms. It never really makes that much sense. So just the blurb here, I would disenfranchise 85%, back to Asmongold's take. And they would be saying after 10, 20 years, thank you for removing this burden. Too many dumb people think about how close Kamala Harris came to winning. No, exactly. Because I remember how silly I was. It's not like the choice was that great back in 2008, which would have technically been the first presidential election I could have voted in. I obviously didn't because, number one, I'm Canadian, and number two, probably would have sat out that election given my own personal positions. But how many people regret, especially in hindsight nowadays, the election and the ascension of Barack Obama based on one simple word? He was supposed to be the bringer of hope, when in reality, I would say it was the cultural flashpoint that has led us to all of the wrath and ruin we've been experiencing over the past, 17 years since his election. But you can also thank the Republicans at the same time for trotting out stupid-ass fucking John McCain, but I digress. Let's get into this Asmongold clip here, okay? Because I accept the premise. I like the premise. Let's just see if there's a little bit more to this.
If I had my way, I would disenfranchise 85% of the population instantly. I would take away their right to vote, and they would be saying after 10 years, 20 years, thank you. Thank you so much for removing this burden from us.
Yeah, 100%. Like I said, for me at 18 years old, my contemporaries, classmates, people of my age, they were all championing Barack Obama, saying Sarah Palin's so stupid because she said, I can see Russia from my front porch. All of the people in the media were just lampooning her as being stupid. And what was that about, Obama's vice presidential candidate saying he's going to put you all back in chains or something like that, saying that he's a nice, clean, articulate black guy? Oh, we don't need to concern ourselves with any of that stuff. Fake news as a term got popularized in 2016 thanks to Trump, but that shit was going on big time back in the cut.
We no longer have to worry about this. We don't have to deal with this anymore. You're just going to have the people that are in charge deal with the issues about getting rid of the bottom 2%? Absolutely, yes. And so that's it. That's what I would do. There are too many dumb people out there. And back in the day, we used to have presidents like Thomas Jefferson. And now we have presidents like George W. Bush.
I mean, H.W. Bush, Joe Biden. People back in the 20s, 30s, and 40s were voting for FDR 4 times over, even though in his final term, the motherfucker was barely cognizant of his surroundings. Woodrow Wilson's racist ass was practically infirmed for his entire second term. But yeah, no. So let everybody vote. What could possibly go wrong? It's so funny, right? Because unfortunate pause screen, I just realized that. But the book I'm reading right now, finally got around to reading one of the classics. I'm finally reading The Republic for the first time ever, and holy shit. For as much as that is just heralded as an all-time classic, it is the most pretentious book I have ever read. It's, hi, my name's Plato. Look at all of these people that agreed with me, and being good is very good, and being bad is being bad. It's so great. It's so fantastic. But there is some stuff that you can peel out of that. And especially some of his takes about direct democracy and how everybody having a say on everything is probably fairly stupid. I do agree with it quite a bit, and it's just so funny how that coincides with, this very reasonable and very understandable take by Asmongold. But
Nope. Not anymore. Think about how close Kamala Harris came to winning the presidency, and then tell me that democracy is a good idea.
just wait until she gets back on the campaign trail in a couple of years' time, because the way that she's setting herself up right now, I think she just released the book and she was on a couple of podcasts and talk shows. Yeah, she's delusional enough to come back around. It's going to be her and Gavin Newsom on that debate stage, and honestly, I can't really say I'm looking forward to it, but it's definitely going to be a thing we'll watch.
Oh, we got to do something about this quick. Things are going to get real bad. Oh, yeah. And, yeah, they're dumbass, but disagree. I tell you that is, and the thing is that, guys, clip it. I'm ahead of the curve. I'm just ahead of the curve. This is going to be a bigger conversation every year. It's going to be a bigger conversation, a bigger issue. And so, too fucking close. Yeah, way too close. And so, just wait up. How will people move up? Well, I don't know. It doesn't matter. It's not about that. It's about making sure that the government isn't run by retards. That's it.
I mean, that's going to be a big issue, and it has been a big issue for a very long time. But yeah, it's a very reasonable take. But of course, the headlines of, oh my God, Asmongold is out there saying that, probably women and minorities most affected, however they want to spin it by the time that you guys see this video. But it's not so much an access to voting issue. But the one thing that, yes, I do disagree with him on is that he's ahead of the curve. No. These are conversations that people have had even well before I have, but I have years prior to this. I got the videos out there talking about it, if you want the receipts, of course. But yes, it's definitely not an access to voting issue. It is a competency issue. It's an intelligence issue. And no, I'm not out here advocating for IQ tests prior to voting, but there should be a base level of skills that are required of you if you're going to be voting in any election. To be able to read and write in that specific country's official language, that's one thing. Like I said before, net taxpayer, employing people, having a business, being enlisted. And also, I would toy with the idea of, once you are elected, should you be able to vote? I'm not entirely sure about that, but yes, these are conversations that I would love to have because they are very important, especially when it comes to the overall health of a government and a country. But in reality, yeah, the wider societal conversation is just going to shift in a more dangerous direction, but being informed is the only way to inoculate yourself against some of the dumbest takes we are yet to encounter. So with all that said, I thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.